Hello, welcome to another episode of the Menswear Style Podcast. I'm your host, Peter Brooker, and today on the show we're talking to Ed Bird, co-founder of Bird Eyewear, the first B Corp certified eyewear brand in the UK, pioneering change in the fashion industry. Their frames are made out of certified woods, bio-based acetate, renewable cork, recycled aluminium, and they create exceptional designs and focus obsessively on quality. And here to tell us more about Bird Eyewear is Ed Bird.
So I'm Ed, one of the co-founders of Bird Eyewear. Founded the brand with my two younger brothers, Lawrence and Paul. And I guess in a nutshell, our goal is to make better eyewear for a better world. So me and my brothers, we wanted to create a brand that really kind of moved the needle in the eyewear industry. And we wanted to do it in a genuine, thoughtful, playful kind of way. None of us are from a fashion or eyewear or even an optical background. So like in that sense, we didn't carry any baggage or like prior knowledge, which has been really nice because it means that like as we've started this brand, our approach to eyewear has been completely different to everyone else in the industry. So I guess for me and my brothers, we kind of describe it as like we've gone from building dens to building a brand, building a movement. But our goal is to make better eyewear for a better world, and I'm happy to unpack that a bit more if you like.
Just dial it back. What was your background before you launched this, and did you have any transferable skills at all?
I think a lot of transferable skills. My background was education, so I'm a very, very different industry. I'm also a musician. I'm a drummer. I still moonlight as a drummer for my sins. I've also been involved in a lot of events and kind of growing, whether that's kind of growing projects in educational settings or outside of that, done a little bit of work with TED. I guess all of those skills were very transferable in terms of starting with an idea, and then you're just kind of tugging on the corners and seeing what comes next, and you're failing fast and learning as you go.
Did you have to do a TED talk?
No, haven't done a TED talk, I was involved kind of on the in the event organizing side.
Cool. All right. I was just thinking, my mind wandered off when you mentioned drumming, that are there any cool drummers that wear sunglasses exclusively? And I'm thinking nowadays, if you're a drummer, you've got so much more going on. You've got like the click track. You might even have like an operable program, drum kit, electrical things that you need to look at that you wouldn't be able to see on stage if it's dark, and you've got your sunglasses on. So I don't think you see a lot. I mean, sunglasses are now just for musicians when they record music videos, not for when they're doing live stuff, because they got so much stuff that they need to see that's technical, right?
I think so, yes. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time when I'm on stage, I can kind of barely remember all of the little kind of things and paraphernalia and in-ear monitors and things that I need, let alone kind of remembering to put my shades on.
And then the game is up really when you have to take the shades off to do all the programming and look at the set list. It's like, you're almost a charlatan up there. Anyway.
Exactly.
I digress already. Please, Ed, talk to me about, I'm very interested in how this got off the ground with regards to capital. Maybe you can talk about how you raised the funds for this.
Yeah, so we first launched the brand kind of as a side hustle, as many brands start, back in 2016. And it was kind of slow momentum at first while we were making small iterations and just kind of getting to grips with how the industry works, how the products work, getting feedback on our designs and so on. And it wasn't until 2019 when we launched the company that year, and one of our frames, called the Blackcap, won Frame of the Year at the Optician Awards, which is kind of like the Grammys for eyewear. So all of the big brands are there. It's a global thing.
Ricky Gervais presenting.
Yeah, that kind of
Consulting all the
deal.
brands.
Um,
Sorry.
exactly. So we were nominated for Frame of the Year. We were up against some very big brands from Italy, and like LA Works from the States. But anyway, short story. We ended up winning. And that was a really kind of explosive moment for us. We were this kind of small, part-time team from Devon. So yeah, that was really the catalyst where we thought, okay, I think we're really onto something here. People are really enjoying what we're doing. They're liking the designs and the frames. So we kind of set about creating our investment deck and laying out the story and our plans, and we reached out to a number of people, and it was through an investment platform called Worth Capital.
Okay.
And we ended up getting investment through them, which was really great, and that enabled us to launch with a full-time team in January 2020. So we launched probably a month before the pandemic kind of hit and all the lockdowns hit. So that was either perfect timing or really bad timing, and we can't quite work it out.
But if it's online, it's an e-commerce store, if I'm right, then the pandemic hitting will, I imagine, affect supply chains, and perhaps people might be knuckling down and seeing where their money's going because they're not making as much if they're being furloughed, etc. But at the same time, you've got more people in front of their computers, with itchy fingers. So yeah, I guess it could be a catch 50-50 on whether that goes your way or not.
Yes, I'd say it was a mixed blessing. It was good that the online market kind of exploded, but bad in the sense that people weren't going outdoors much. They weren't going on holidays, so there was less need for sunglasses. Yeah. So we very quickly orientated the business, and we developed our optical side much quicker than we were planning to. And we also developed our home try-on service, and we launched that in early 2020.
So I saw that. So is that when you have like 4 pairs of sunglasses that you can try on for £1?
Yes. So currently it's only for optical, only for glasses. So that was something that we were pushing that. So it was very simple for people to try on frames when they couldn't get to the high street because the high street was closed. We did open that out for a short period for sunglasses as well. But now that's just for our optical frames.
I see. I've seen on some sunglasses websites that you can actually have like an avatar or a 3D version of the glasses on how they look. I don't know the name of the software, but is that something that you've seen also and something that you've considered?
Yes, we have that option on our website. On almost all of our product pages, you'll find a virtual try-on. And what's great about the system we use, we work with a company in France to develop it, and it does it in real time. So rather than scan your face or upload a photo, you can be there live, and you can try on a pair of frames, and you can turn your head and see what they look like. And the sizing is accurate, up to about 3 or 4 millimeters. So it's very, very close. So it gives people a really good idea of what a particular shape or style would look like.
Okay, that's interesting. So you can go on your site. I didn't get down to, I guess, the trial outs or the virtual trial-ons, but you can do that all through your page. That's good. What would you say is the USP of the brand then, Ed? I mean, if you had to sum it up in a nutshell, why yours is getting the awards and the notoriety, what would you put it down to at the moment?
Yeah, I would say so. Our kind of USP is that we like to think that we're innovating for good, and as a team, we love going the extra mile and just kind of taking things that extra step, almost unnecessarily at times, but just to really kind of prove to ourselves and to others that we're kind of going above and beyond to do things better. So whether that's like innovating like different kind of materials for our frames. We launched a children's range that was made from castor beans last year. They've been super popular, sold out really quick last year. We do a lot of things with certified woods and other bioplastics, renewable corks, recycled aluminium. But I think for us, it's all about just taking that extra step. So just to give an example, the aluminium for our recycled metal frames, we source that in Norway because the carbon emission footprint is lower because of the energy usage of the factory that recycles it. And so all of this stuff we plug into our supply chain metrics, and we kind of, we work out all of the emissions across our supply chain as well. So we really kind of geek out on those small details and on the materials, and like we kind of extend that as well to packaging. So it's not just about the frames. We make great glasses, but we make brilliant packaging as well, and we're kind of innovating that. And we kind of extend that ethos right through the whole company. And so it's just about finding. We call it the birdness. So like, where's the birdness in this? And it's that kind of 5% extra that we're looking for.
And we spoke off mic about how you might be planning to move some operations down to where you're based, down in the south there. Mind talking us through that?
Yeah. So we've recently done, over the last 12 months, an innovation project, which we worked in partnership with Devon County Council. And, we were fortunate to get some innovation funding to really kind of supercharge our plans here in the Southwest. So for us, working with manufacturers, we have manufacturers all over the world, and it's really about finding the right manufacturer for the right material. But we've always wanted to do things closer to home and create that kind of circular product economy. So so this year and in the coming months, we'll be launching a new range of products which are made in Devon from waste that's sourced from Devon. So in that sense, it will be a kind of completely circular product, and then at its end of life, it can be sent back to us and recycled again. And so it's just has a very low carbon footprint. And so that's been a really exciting journey for us, just going through the motions, trying to kind of match up local supply from waste collection through to processing through to manufacture. And so we're pretty excited about having that opportunity.
Oh, that's really cool. But I mean, when you have to go through that kind of process, is it a long process? I imagine you're emailing councils, like government. Typically, nothing ever happens. The machinery of government as well. So, are you just on the phone all the time, going, "Where's my answer? Where's my reply?"
It's definitely a longer process than going to a normal kind of manufacturer, going the typical supply chain route where you can call them up and you can send them a CAD design or a drawing or something and say, "Can you make this for me?" And they'll say, "Yep, no problem." So we've had to approach it very differently and almost kind of start from just the initial idea. What's the material we want to use? Can we make something with this? Is it strong enough? And then we do a series of tests, and we've gone through various prototypes that first we 3D print to make sure that they're kind of the right shape and style before we then create the molds so that they can be injection molded locally using waste material. So and I guess having the local council's involvement has been really helpful. They bring something extra. Obviously, there's a bit more paperwork. There's more bureaucracy involved, as you can imagine. But it's been really helpful, and it's something that we wouldn't have been able to achieve it, I think, otherwise, or at least not as quickly as we'd have liked.
Interesting. Well, you've replenished my faith in local council and sustainable elements. That's really encouraging to hear. Do you, switching gears, perhaps not so seamlessly, but when I think of like sunglasses, I often think of like actors and famous brand ambassadors and iconic films and stuff like that. Do you ever look at the films and think, crikey, Daniel Craig looks good in XYZ, or, you know, Cary Grant on the train in North by Northwest? How do we get something like that on the go? Do you use any like cinema iconography to influence your designs at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many iconic kind of film stars. I mean, like, so last year, for example, the Maverick film, the Top Gun film with Tom Cruise. We did a big piece on that with our aviator style, our recycled aluminium aviators, which, you know, for those, we took very direct inspiration from the aviation industry when we were designing those frames. And yes, certainly when we're putting mood boards together for seasons and shoots or styles, invariably there will be some kind of film imagery in there. And I guess in many ways as well, like films, they kind of help shape the zeitgeist of fashion in terms of what's going on and what's current and so on. So I think that can be really helpful.
And are you conscious of like image rights and protection and IP and stuff like that? So, for example, if you did want to, you know, take Sylvester Stallone from Cobra, which would be a very deep pool, you're like, well, we love the glasses, but how do we kind of wrangle it so that we don't get any red letters?
Yes, yeah, always have to be mindful of that stuff. But that's fairly easy to kind of just check that you're not treading on toes, or like any kind of design inspiration you're using is isn't kind of infringing on others. And I guess that's all part of the process when you have an idea and you then look for I guess kind of outside influences to help, you know, develop the idea. But it's always a journey that we will go on internally, and we'll kind of validate it along the way.
I'm trying to think of the most famous drummer that would be wearing sunglasses nonstop. I was going to say Nikki Sixx, but I don't think he wore sunglasses live. I think he wore them all in the videos.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think for most drummers, it's videos.
Yeah,
only.
I mean, how often do we see? So this is one for the listeners. How often do we see drummers wear sunglasses whilst playing live? And I'm not talking about MTV videos where they're, you know, playing live to a studio audience and it's all pre-recorded. They have to see what the hell is going on.
Exactly. Yeah, answers on a postcard for that one.
I mean, I just Googled like Rick Allen. Rick Allen from Def Leppard lost his arm. He was a drummer. And he was one guy that would never wear sunglasses on stage because, you know, you've only got one arm. You don't want to be faffing around with, you know, the prosthetic one, trying to get the sunglasses off so that you can see the song list. Anyway, meanwhile, sorry, I had a tangent there with drummers and sunglasses. Meanwhile, back in the interview, Ed, I want to know about we spoke about the project down there in Devon. Have you got any future plans for exhibitions? Do you go to trade fairs? Any bricks and mortar pop-ups on the horizon for 2023?
So for 2023, no plans for bricks and mortar stores. So we are predominantly online D2C, but we do stock in kind of fashion boutiques for our sunglasses and in a lot of optical stores, so mostly independent optical stores. Last year, we took the decision to separate out our D2C and B2B ranges. So from kind of February, March 23, we will have our online styles, which are only available online. And then we'll have our B2B styles, which are only available to our optical stores. And in that way, it will enable us to kind of curate much kind of better fit for both audiences, because they are very different. People that are shopping online for eyewear versus people that are going into their local independents. Absolutely need both, and there's so many benefits in having both. The ease of shopping online is fantastic, but sometimes you can't beat going into an optician's and trying lots of different pairs on and having that face-to-face service. So yeah, for us, it's been we've wanted to cater for both, but do it really, really well. So that's something that we're looking to do this year.
Are you trying to pitch to like Selfridges or John Lewis or anything like that? Is that also thinking big?
Not currently. We are joining some slightly bigger optical groups, and we've got some bigger kind of B2B wholesale opportunities on the horizon. So this year we're looking to do another investment raise to kind of help us with that next step as we scale things up further. Yeah, most of the time it's stores that come to us and they say, we love the product, these fit really well with what the consumer is looking for in terms of being more environmentally friendly and so on, being a bit different. And so yeah, most of the time it's stores that are coming to us rather than us actively seeking out
Awesome.
them.
Ed, thanks so much for jumping on. It's been fascinating listening to the makings of the business. At Find Your Birds is where you're hanging out on Instagram. Is that where you hang out personally? Is it you behind the scenes there too?
Yes, well, you'll find myself and my team there at Find Your Birds. You can very easily find me on Instagram or LinkedIn as well. But yeah, at Find Your Birds, that's for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And you can keep up to date with everything that we're doing and everything in the life of the birds.
Cool. And that's the website also, findyourbirds.com. Great. Yeah. It's where we can go and do some shopping. Brilliant. All right, Ed. Well, thanks for jumping on, and until next time. You've been listening to the Menswear Style Podcast. Be sure to head over to menswearstyle.co.uk for more menswear content, and email info@menswearstyle.co.uk if you would like to be a future guest on the show. Finally, please help support the show by leaving a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Until next time.